Well, good morning, and thank you so much for sticking with K24. We'd like to welcome you to our social hour. Shiko Kaitani here with you. What a pleasure. We all know what the weather is like, and I know it is dampening the spirit, the mood, but nevertheless, we give thanks that we're here. Keep engaging us through our social media platforms at K24 TV across the board. That's Instagram, Facebook, as well as X. We do have our WhatsApp number scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and we'd be most appreciative if you engage us this morning. All right, so as you probably know, the affordable housing program through the Bomayango platform is a very serious passion project, if I can call it that, by President William Ruto, with the vision of seeing every Kenyan achieve their home ownership goals. What we've seen, though, in the private sector is a very huge shift where we do have property developers using the same approach of affordable housing. But the question is, what do we need to know to start our journey to home ownership? We have the pleasure of welcoming Fair Deal Properties this morning to give us great tips on this. They're also going to be telling us about some exciting news of one of their latest projects down at the coast. For now, though, we'd like to welcome the director of Fair Deal Properties, Mr. Kuzema Ezi. I hope I said that right.
That's correct.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is nerve-wracking, I can tell you, but I'll try my best.
You'll try your best.
Yes.
Well, welcome. This is your debut.
All right. Yeah, debut. Exactly. You're right. Debut on TV.
You do well. I hope everyone at home is about to text in.
I hope not.
All right, Mr. Ezi, welcome again to the show. Okay, so let's get an understanding of Fair Deal Properties before we begin. Who are you? How would you describe yourselves?
So, Fair Deal Properties is a private family-based, family-owned business. We have around 20 plus projects that some are in completion stage, some are ongoing right now.
Yeah.
We are tight-knit family business where my dad is the chairman and we are 3 co-directors as 3 brothers.
Right.
Our aim or our intention at Fair Deal Properties is to be the developer for all Kenyans. So what we pride ourselves in is that we have properties that are affordable, mid-range and high-end as well.
Right.
And that's where we have our distinction. So we have been in business for almost 15 years, multiple projects done and multiple projects happening right now. So in a nutshell, that's what Fair Deal Properties is.
Okay, so looking at just your portfolio, I mean, you know, you are using that term affordable housing projects, but how would you describe your niche market? So are we talking about your average Kenyan looking for a place and a space with Fair Deal Properties? So
let me just break this down. 2012, 2013, before the whole affordable housing thing became a big thing, Fair Deal Properties actually started a project in Mombasa called Zawadi Apartments. These were 3-bedroom apartments that we were selling at around 3.6 million shillings. I mean, that is 10 years ago, and we did that at that time. So it's not something that is new to us. Yes, from there, yes, we had a few challenges, obviously, when we were starting out. But from there, we have grown. We have come to Nairobi. We are doing projects in Mombasa, and now affordable housing has taken a life of its own. I mean, a lot of government incentives and things like that are coming towards the affordable housing sector, which makes it attractable for investors and real estate developers. And it's a market that we think we can be good at since we have the experience.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. I mean, over the past 10 years or so, it would almost be impossible for your average Kenyan to be thinking like a homeowner.
Agreed. So at Fair Deal Properties, what we have been very clear about and what our strategy and our pricing strategy is that we are going to have homes that are between 2 million shillings and 25 million shillings. That's the, obviously we have a few projects that are slightly higher, but this is majority of our projects.
Right.
And what we pride ourselves in is the payment plan. I mean, as you invest in an off-plan development, you have a payment plan that is manageable. And that's why when you ask me if it's affordable for an average Kenyan, I think so. I mean, some of our projects have a payment plan which is like 30K or something like that to just start buying a property. So yes, yes and no.
Okay, yes and no. Well, you can start sending in your questions if you do have any for Mr. Ezi this morning. If you are thinking of yourself as a homeowner in the future. By the way, whether it is obviously you're going to go the government route or you are going to be attracted to private developers, for example, such as Fair Deal, we want you to claim it, okay? We want you to start saying, yes, I am an investor. And if at all, by the way, you do want to begin this journey, we encourage you to throw in all sorts of questions because we've got the experts in studio here with you today. All right, so at K24 TV yet again is how you can reach us. I'll be asking Madam Sunshine, Brenda, our director, to let me know if we do have any text messages that we can sample. All right, so let's get into the meat of it, right. Mr. Ezi. There are so many key factors that stop people from becoming a home owner. So what do you believe are those key factors that are really a barrier to people, you know, just not achieving this dream?
I mean, look, from my experience and the people I've interacted with, a lot of people have been initial investors with us as well. I mean, I think there are two things that there are biggest drawbacks to invest to people not investing. Number one, it's the fear of a big number. When you talk about real estate, you straight away thinking, oh, it's going to be a 10 million, 15 million or 5 million, 7 million property. How am I going to afford that? I mean, that's where you just get a block and you just decide, forget it. This is not about me. Let me do something else. So that's factor number one. But I think we both wrote in our inshas, you know, haba na haba ujaza kibaba.
Right.
So, I mean, just start something small. I tell most youngsters, most young investors that, you know what, you don't need to start with a project in Westlands or Kilimani or one of the high-end locations. Start with an affordable housing. Learn that journey. Learn that the journey of owning a house.
Right.
And from there, yes, you have already built a capital with that house. Use that capital towards what you eventually want. So one of the things I encourage a lot of people is that don't look for your home yet, but start setting aside some money towards buying an investment property.
Okay.
From that investment property, yes, you can always get your own home. So that's factor number one.
Yeah.
Factor number two, it's just the process of buying a property. I mean, there's so much documentation you look at, and there's so many horror stories that happen and things like that. So we as developers, we just need to simplify that process. And that's what we have done at Fair Deal, where you just have an offer letter, your sale agreement, and all the due diligence and everything is done by the lawyer. So, I mean, it's pretty simple, it's straightforward, and I don't think it's something to worry about, the process of investing. Basically.
So it's really a perception, in your opinion?
I think so. I mean, I'm a millennial, so I think Gen Zs just have a lot of like things to buy, so and they forget the things they need in a way. So yes, I mean, real estate is something that you need to have in your portfolio. Yes, there are so many opportunities to invest in mutual funds, infrastructure bonds, and things like that.
Right.
But from a traditional perspective, and most investors will tell you that 30% of your wealth should be in real estate, and that's the perception we need to create, and that's I think that's what the president is as well doing, is saying start saving aside. And that's something we need to do.
All right, and you know, if you have probably checked out the Boma Yangu site on the platform, what you'll realize is that there is a very flexi plan where you can simply log in and register, obviously, deposit as little as you can whenever you want, however you want. I think that's one of the things that, you know, the government is really trying to, you know, create as an incentive for Kenyans to start putting money aside to owning their own home. And so, Mr. Ezi, when you think about it, this Lipa Pole Pole concept has become such a huge hit. It has disrupted every industry, whether you want to buy furniture, whether now you want to buy land. Yes. Lipa Pole Pole is the thing to go. So, but my question is, are there any hidden charges around that Lipa Pole Pole? Because even for the bank to actually loan you or give you something, some type of facility, there's always a catch. Tell us about the catch. Tell us the secret.
So look, I'm not very well versed on what the Lipa Pole Pole is on the Boma Yangu platform.
Yeah, but for you?
But for us, that's true, and it's not something we've done just now. We've been doing that for the past 10 years. Lipa Pole Pole is just pay your installments slowly. So as the construction is going on, you are putting in the money. So I mean, the hidden costs for us, we give interest-free payment plans. So I mean, you're safe on that side. Maybe the negative of it is whether the project will finish or not. I mean, that's the fear people have.
This is the thing.
That's the fear people have. So I mean, things have happened in Kenya, but there are also reliable developers here and who have delivered and who have a good track record of projects. So I mean, that's what we need to differentiate.
Yeah. Okay. Brenda, if you do have that chart which has a pricing plan, we went ahead and actually engaged Fair Deal to just give us a sample of what would be a typical payment plan. And look at this, Mr. Ezi. We managed to extract this from your site, and I believe this is the module you're using with the latest project that you have down at the coast. So thanks so much for providing this, because to me, I want us to really get it, what it kind of looks like. If you're talking about what, a one-bedroom, today you're looking at about 2 million, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, so
38K.
Yeah, so I mean, look, the big chunks that you see are the signing amount and the deposit. But after that, you're paying around 30K a month.
Yeah.
And you become a homeowner. So wow. I tell a lot of people, like, yeah, the signing amounts and deposit amounts look big, but
yeah, because 3 million, 4 million looks like a big figure, but if you break it down to 57.
Yeah, and if you come in early, the signing amount and the deposit amounts can be paid over time as well, while the project is in the approval stages and things like that. So that way it also breaks it down. So yeah, I believe, I mean, this is one of our affordable housing projects. I think these are numbers that most Kenyans can afford. And I'm not saying an individual Kenyan, but maybe 2 people come together and buy an apartment. That's what I tell most people.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Thanks, Brenda, for that. Let's talk a little bit about that. I think that's a great idea to explore. So if you're telling me that, let's say, for example, I want to be a homeowner and I'm looking at a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom. So you're saying, you're advising us, if you can't do it alone, so me and, for example, Brenda, my director, we shikana, everybody 15K a month.
That's it. I mean, but don't fear buying the property. I mean, just start it. That's what I want people to do, and I expect the young generation to do that. You know, get 3 people together. That comes to around 10K a month. I mean, you spend that probably on restaurant, eating out, and things like that. So, and one of the things is just
shots fired.
Yes. So it's just that once you have a commitment towards something, then you start putting money aside. If you don't have a commitment, you don't put money aside.
Yeah, and I think this is a good opportunity for you to now appeal to people who are in organized groups. So we have chamas. People have whatever reasons for coming together.
True.
This is a good idea.
Yeah, and it's not like we haven't dealt with chamas. We have dealt with other SACCOs and things like that. And yeah, it makes their dream of owning a house in Kenya possible. I mean, so that's in a nutshell. That's what I'm come here to say. It's not difficult. Just start out small. Don't look for the big ticket items. Start something small, and you will get there eventually.
Right. So if you are in a chama, we're talking to you today. If you and the girls are coming together, you and the boys are doing something together, what exactly are you putting your money aside? I'm telling you, people come and put a kitty for something as simple as buying furniture and you know, all sorts of soft furnishing and things like that. But why not think about actually putting that money now into real estate, and you can break it down amongst yourself to make it easier. What an amazing concept, if you ask me, because you can achieve that dream and call yourself, by the way, I have a 2-bedroom somewhere. Okay, send in your questions if you haven't already for Mr. Ezi, so we can sample them before the end of the show. Okay, now if you look at a lot of what developers are doing, there's some of these key terms that kind of lure you in. And one of them is aspiring, Mr. Ezi. When we see the term aspiring, okay, first of all, what does that mean? And number 2, what are the advantages of investing in off-plan projects?
Okay, so I'll right off the bat, I mean, aspiring is not a word we have just generated from AI or something like that. It's something that we have thought about. So aspiring, there are 2 ways. You look at it from a developer's perspective and you look at it from a purchaser's perspective. From a developer's perspective, what is aspiring for us? So it's something to aim higher. So when we are doing projects, we aim for maybe having more sustainable features in the development, or having more amenities for residents to enjoy. That's something we aspire towards as developers. For a homeowner, it's aspiring to get something better. So if you don't have a home, you're renting currently, you aspire towards getting a home. If you're living in a studio apartment, you aspire towards getting a 2-bedroom apartment, or you move into a location or locality which is closer to your family or something like that. And another factor is maybe you move towards a newer development which has far better amenities than an older development. When I talk about amenities like children's play area and those type of things. So yeah, that's what the word aspiring means to us, and that's what we mean when we say aspiring towards a property. In terms of investing in off-plan developments, number one, key factor, the price. What you receive in an off-plan development, the price you get compared to when it is finished, there's going to be a difference.
A huge difference.
Probably 30% minimum. The difference. So you're the reason for that is you are participating in the risk with the developer. So you have to be rewarded for that risk. And that's why developers price it slightly lower at off-plan. Second thing, it's the payment plan. You know, when a project is finished, the two options that you have is pay full or get a mortgage. So, I mean, if you are saving 30% with a reliable developer and paying off plan, maybe 30, 40, 50K a month or something like that, that becomes manageable, and you can do that. The third factor is the capital appreciation, which I mentioned earlier, is that when you buy a property off plan compared to what the price would be at the end, there will be a difference. So there is automatically a capital appreciation of the money that you put in initially. And remember that money you have not put in all at once, you have put it over a time. So the net present value is very different in that sense. And then lastly, and this applies mostly to our high-end development, is that when it's off plan, there are things you can change within the development. I mean, look, I cannot please everyone with the selection of tiles you use or kitchen. I mean, look, it can't happen. So for high-end developments who people are buying to stay there themselves, we give that opportunity to make a few changes, obviously reasonable changes. And that can become your dream home, not the dream
because
home
it's custom to you, what do you want, your preference. So that's in a nutshell, I think those are like the key advantages of purchasing off plan. So I mean, obviously the downside to it is the waiting. But I mean, like you said, if you're taking the journey with the developer, you already have a timeline and you can plan yourself around it.
It has to begin somewhere. So that's what I mentioned, that, you know, get a trusted, reliable developer, start the journey with them. In a 3 years time, it's not a long period of time, you'll own a house. I mean, I'll tell you, this thing came about to us during COVID-19, when everyone was sitting at home, you had worries of the bills you were paying and the rent you were paying. So we saw a shift in people purchasing houses for themselves, in especially the affordable sector. We're like, look, the minimum I need in my life is at least have a roof over my head. So why should I maybe travel to Dubai in this 3-year time? Maybe I start my journey towards owning a house. So I mean, that's where an off-plan development gives you the benefit of starting it slowly.
Right. There are this thing that we always see in portfolios written amenities that developers try to woo investors with. But how do I pick, you know, the right property project for me? When you talk about amenities, so what should I be looking out for?
I mean, look, there are so many amenities that nowadays developers are giving, but from my experience and from what people actually use when the project ends, a couple of things. Number one, green spaces. If you have green spaces that works out well, you have the greenery, you can view these things. Number two, children's play area. I mean, these things are, my daughter, my son, we live in a mixed development, and I mean, they are 5 o'clock, they're downstairs, they're interacting with people, getting off their iPads and things like that. So having children's play area is
number one.
No, it's one of the main things.
If you're a family person.
Yes, if you're a family person, but that to me is important. Second thing, security. CCTV and other security features, electric fencing and things like that. I mean, these are the things that are key amenities. One of the things that people don't mention a lot when they are selling is what happens after the handover. while it's not considered an amenity, it's management of the property.
Okay.
Remember, you have probably 50, 70 different people living in a development. How do you get these guys together to manage the property? And that's a nightmare scenario that happens with most developers. So what we have done as Fairdeal is create our own management team.
Yeah.
We keep a stake in most of the projects that we are doing as well. So that way we are in the journey with the investors and with the buyers together. So we ensure that the property is well managed post handover, basically.
Right.
So that's also something to look out for. It's not an amenity per se, but something to look out for.
Absolutely. And what will determine your comfortability
and appreciation of the property.
And exactly. So we never think of that. So how it's managed will really determine whether or not you're keeping good price in the market for this particular property.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. For those of you, by the way, who are thinking, I'm so done with my landlord. This is the conversation you need to be listening to. I like also some of the tips that Mr. Eze has given us this morning about if you do want to become an investor, what are some of the key amenities you need to be looking out for? Some of us have bought into property where we didn't really think about, oops, where are the kids going to play? And now here you are barking at each other as neighbors in your complex because your totos are driving them crazy. Honestly, it sounds silly, but it really is something to think about in the long run. Where are your children going to, to play and enjoy themselves? Some of the key tips that, by the way, Eze has brought to our attention this morning. But guess what? We also want to sample your text messages. We want you to engage Mr. Eze this morning if you're thinking about starting your journey to home ownership. So get to work, and we'll be looking at those in just a few. All right, and we are back. Shiko Kaitani here with you. Thanks so much for sticking with us. We hope that you're enjoying the conversation so far. And that's because we're trying to encourage you today to begin your journey to home ownership, as the tag says at the bottom of your screen. We're having a great time with Mr. Kuzema Ezi. He's the director at Fair Deal Properties, letting us know that, by the way, it's all about the perception. So many of us think that, okay, that's something I'll think about in my 50s, something I'll think about when I'm 40. No, 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 no. Start that journey today if at all you want to break free from this thing called rent, okay? You can own your own property and not alone, by the way. We love some of the ideas that have come through about co-ownership, okay? So you, your chama, organized type of groups can come together and invest in a property, and the Lipa Pole Pole concept is now a thing today, so don't feel left out, okay? Speaking of which, Mr. Ezi, welcome back. We did throw out this particular topic on social media, and we got some feedback. So let's see what some Kenyans have to say. Thanks so much. This is Amber, I can see, from Kisumu. Not the real Ambare. You know Ambare? Look at all right, so this is Amber from Kisumu, the other Amber Ezi, who says, hi Shiko, great topic. What happens when one begins to make payments but defaults along the way? Are they entitled to a refund, or when goods are once sold not returnable? I like that. I like that. Yeah, Amber, thank you.
This is a very, very tough question for a developer, especially live on air. Look, so I don't know what other developers do, but right. At Fair Deal, what we do is that we understand that this is your hard-earned money.
Yeah.
In the event that you are in the middle of the journey and you default, look, remember that money that you have been paying has gone towards the project. So it becomes very difficult to remove money from the project.
Okay.
So we have two options that we do. Supposing you have bought like a 3-bedroom apartment, which is 5 million, and you defaulted after paying 2 million. So what we encourage the customer to do is, let's have a sit down.
Yeah.
Why don't we downgrade to a 1-bedroom apartment? You don't lose any money, and that way you also get a unit, and you can continue the payment. In the event that yes, you are just not able to get the money, you are not able to get the money, or you don't want a property.
Yeah.
There is a cancellation clause which is 10% of the value on the property. We are very averse to using that clause.
Yeah.
We try to have a sit down, we try to negotiate with our clients and move them to other properties or properties that come in the future, so they don't lose out on the 10%.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, when the property is resold, yes, we do refund the money. But then that becomes a waiting period.
Right.
So that's something that, especially in off-plan developments, it's something you need to understand, that the money has gone towards the project. It's not. So once the project is over, yes, then it becomes easy to process refunds and things like that.
Okay. I like that question. Thanks so much, Amber. I mean, that's the reality on ground. It's possible that could happen. Jackson from Gong Road, what's up? Thank you so much for watching. Saying, kindly ask our guest today, which areas / locations are looking attractive for young investors? We simply cannot afford to buy within the city. Those of us who have dreams for La Vie, Kilimani, Upper Hill, drop it.
Fair enough. I mean, look, starter homes, think about satellite towns, Kitengela, Athi River. I mean, there is properties available at very affordable prices. We have a project on Athi River where a 3-bedroom is around 4 million shillings. So, so that's the location you start off with, and then you slowly move towards the city.
Right.
And the good thing right now, Nairobi has, forget the floods right now, but it has good accessibility right now with the expressway, with the roads that have been developed. So the city is not too far anymore from these satellite towns.
And by the way, why does everybody believe that only owning a home within the city center matters? I mean, what's so like crazy about building in Naivasha or going to Kakamega? I don't know.
Two factors. I mean, number one, it depends on what you're building for. If you're building for yourself, a holiday home or something like that, but if you work within the city, then you might as well have a house within the city.
Right.
And you have an access to all the amenities that are there in Nairobi City. I mean, the coffee shops, the supermarkets and things like that. So that's one of the key factors that people look at. But as you grow older, people want to move away from the city and move towards the leafy suburbs of Nairobi. So that's just the way it is. That's how real estate works in most part of the world.
Right. Okay. So a lot of it also depends on what your
and what age group you are in.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see, Mr. Ezi, what Becky from Huruma, I can see that on our screen, Huruma Estate, who goes on to say, it is my dream to own a home one day. I like that. With these small monies we are earning today, can one really own a home and begin investing? I'm skeptical about the Boma Yangu programs, to be honest. All right, there's someone who's not too confident in what's currently happening with the government, but a story for another day, though. Ezzy, what do you think for someone who feels that they're not confident enough with whatever they're earning? And today, I mean, what's your average salary? Like 50K and below, 50, 100,000, that's the bracket a lot of people are in.
Agreed.
So, yeah, someone is asking, what do I do?
Yeah, so and that's why I come with the advice that, get together. Talk to your parents, get the deposit from your parents, and start the monthly installments. It gives you something towards commitment. If you're not able to do it alone, do it with 2 people, 3 people. It's not the home that you're owning, that you're living in, okay? It's a home that you're owning as an investment.
Yeah.
That slowly also, remember, once that home is ready, you start renting that out, you start getting the rental income, and you invest towards another property. So those are possibilities. I think I just want to also clarify on the Boma Yangu thing. As developers, yes, Boma Yangu has helped us in the affordable sector. I'm talking purely as a private investor. So there are certain incentives that the government has given in terms of tax incentives where the VAT is exempted for affordable housing programs. Yeah, it has its bureaucracy challenges and things like that, but it reduces the cost of construction, which as developers we can pass it on to the clients.
Right.
Second thing, it also just opens up a new database for developers of people looking to buy a home.
Right.
So it kind of reduces our marketing efforts as well. So it has been positive. I mean, it's just started a year and a half ago or something like that.
Correct.
So look, things take time. I'm confident. I think it's a good initiative, and we hope that it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Also, this thing of wanting things now, the microwave generation, we want it now. No, it cannot happen. All right. Let's see another one. Is this your namesake texting in? Because I can say, is this as easy? Okay, fine. Is Isaac, who says, very interesting, 30K is the deposit. How can 2 or 3 people own an apartment together? The title deed has all names. Good question. What happens now in that with co-ownership?
Okay, so the deposit is actually not 30K, it's 300K. And then the monthly installments is 30K. Yeah, in a title, you can put multiple names. You can own it, co-own it. Alternatively, if you're looking to continue the investment, form a company and start owning houses within that company. It just becomes easier to sell shares and things like that within the company. So, yeah, it's possible. There are multiple ways you can do that.
All right, thank you so much for those text messages. Of course, if you still would like to throw a question to Mr. Ezi this morning, would be most appreciative if you send it through to our WhatsApp ASAP, okay, so that we can tackle it before we wrap up. Moving on, let's talk about that elephant in the room, which is the financing, though. When someone wants to approach a financial institution, what essentially are they looking for potential applications that are coming in for those who want to get financing to purchase, you know?
I mean, this is a subject I'm really not an expert in, but what I can tell you from the experience that we have had, number one, if you're looking at getting a property on financing, the property needs to be completed and it needs to have its sectional title. So otherwise you are not eligible to get the financing. So yeah, so make sure you look into that all the documentation are available and ready from the developer's side. Number two, I think a lot of banks also look at how much are you contributing towards that apartment. So it can't be in a way that you're paying only 5% and 95% is mortgage, basically. So start saving up, get the 20% or 25%. Banks like that. They see that there is commitment towards this apartment. And they would offer the financing easier in that way. And lastly, it's It's just having a steady income. So that's what banks are looking at. Whatever income that you're having, it's kind of steady and growing.
Right, right.
So I think these are the three core things that the institutions are looking at, and it's possible.
It's possible.
Yes.
Okay. And so without those things, for example, if you know, right now you've got a lot of people who are in startups, young people especially, people who are now entrepreneurs. So for them, the advice would be purely pull out of pocket from your savings and put the deposits in.
Put in offline, buy offline. I mean, that's the way. It's a 40-month journey, but it will happen. And nobody is telling you to not do your due diligence. Look around and check, ask people whether this is a reliable developer, what projects they've done, and see. And look, nobody comes in with an intention of not completing a project. Circumstances like that, but we as developers, we are very keen on ensuring that our projects are finished, and we are very savvy financially that way. That we're careful in how we approach projects. So that's something we need to do.
And I like that you've already brought that up, because it was going to be my next point. I know that so many of us have really seen projects that have gone under, and it's been such a huge scandal. Let's not even mention names. You can Google it for yourself. But there are quite a number of projects, massive projects, that have gone under. And it doesn't matter which way you slice it, okay? At the end of the day, it is the person who removed their hard-earned money who gets, the flack, who gets burnt. And bears the biggest, can I say, I mean, just bears the biggest burden, because where do you begin all over again, you know? And you're probably halfway through the project and then it goes under. And so my question is to you, Mr. Eze, is how can people protect themselves from unstable development projects? What do you want us to know as we're going out to shop for a property developer?
So number one, make sure you do your due diligence. I mean, ask around, look at the properties, go see the projects that have been completed by the developer.
Go see,
Go see what they have already done.
For
yourself, exactly. Don't send someone else. Just go see, check it out, and understand the type of development it is. Remember, in off-plan, you really don't have something to see, but sometimes there are show houses to see. Go and see the show house and get an idea and feel of what the apartment would look like. Number two, what is the track record of the developer? How many projects has he done? How many projects has he completed? How many projects are also in the pipeline? I mean, that also determines how efficient or how financially stable a developer is. So look into that. Lastly, this is somewhat what we are as developers. We are a zero debt company, so we don't borrow money. So what happens is that whatever is owned by ourselves and the investors. So yeah, you might face a few project delays, but at the end of the day, it's not like a bank is claiming the land or the property or something like that. So that's something I tell a lot of people to look out for. In fact, I have an anecdote here. There is one of our investors who joined us, and he was one of the directors at a bank. And he said, look, the only reason I'm investing with you in off-plan development is because you don't borrow money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's strange.
Yeah, simple.
And he has become such a good friend and a mentor as well to us. So, I mean, that made sense to us. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is ours. And this is belonging to the people who are there. So there's no one else putting a claim to that property.
This business of just looking at a flyer, the 50 meters from the road, 10 minutes away from SGR, I don't know what, and there you are just already putting in your money, and you don't know.
Take your time. Investing.
CCG, water, electricity, water, you know, available, and yet you have not seen a thing. This is crazy, guys. This is your money at stake here. And so looking at the, you know, team millennials, now that you said that you're one, and the Gen Z who are also interested in taking, you know, pride in this title of investor, homeowner. We really want you to tell us about what you're even doing, by the way, as Fair Deal to kind of initiate these conversations with young people. I mean, are there things that you're doing to engage, workshops that you have that young people can come and ask all sorts of questions about their home ownership journey? Yeah,
so this question will show a bit of my age here. I'm terrible on social media. Like the generation right now is on TikTok and Snapchat and things like that. So one thing we're doing is putting a lot more information out on these social media platforms. We can improve, yes, we are saying we can improve, and we will improve on that. That just gives financial tips and what we are doing right now, basically having a conversation with the purchasers. So that's something we're doing. I think what we are also planning to do is just visit university fairs and things like that. Look, nice. We are also developers who are also looking for talent within the workforce. So we will visit them, we will talk about the journey of owning a house. Once you get into a job, start something small.
Start something immediate. But I wish this is something I knew 10 years ago.
Everyone tells me that.
Right?
But it's never too late.
Yeah.
So those are a few things that we are doing. And again, the sort of projects we are developing as well, with the payment plans and the pricing that we are doing, these are starter investors. These are start the journey. That's what we are telling people.
Right.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Okay. You know, I always like to give our guests opportunities to just tell us about, you know, any exciting news that they have. And I think for you guys, this project that you have down in Mombasa, known as Bamburi Greenview Apartments, is your latest project, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so what's happening around that project now?
So Bamburi Greenview came off Fair Valley Heights, which is a project we have done in Athi River.
Yes.
It's done quite successfully.
Oh, wow. There you can see it off plan.
So this is the new project. Okay. It's based in Bamburi on the north coast of Mombasa. It's where the famous beach is. It's near to the famous beaches and the hotels of Mombasa. It's a project that we had envisioned for a long time. And then when the whole affordable housing initiative came in, we said, let's pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So it's around 500 apartments we are building. It's going to be phased in 3 phases.
Okay.
The first phase is around 150 apartments, and honestly, we have received a very good response from our clients and from other investors.
Yeah.
So it's bite-sized. I mean, it's 2.35 million for a 1-bedroom apartment, 35K a month. So that's where Bamburi Greenview comes in place. And the thing that excites us the most as developers, and sometimes people forget that I love it when people buy houses for themselves, not just investment.
Yeah.
So what we have designed and how we designed this project is that we've kept the amenities of the high-end development in an affordable development. So there's going to be a swimming pool, there's a children's play area, lots of green spaces, security has been designed in such an efficient manner and things like that. So we are not compromising on those things and just calling it affordable. A few things that you have to look at, but otherwise this is one of our most exciting developments that we are launching, and it comes off a project that we've already done in Athi River, and we're handing over in a couple of months. So we know what we're doing and we know what works, basically.
Fantastic. And so in terms of open days, events that are coming up, maybe there could be, you know, someone who's interested in coming to check out the apartments, hopefully if they're down at the coast.
Yeah, so we have already prepared a show house for the development, which is available to view. We're looking at breaking ground for this project just next month in May. We have done all the preliminaries, get the approvals and everything.
Yeah.
The groundbreaking ceremony is a very exciting ceremony for us. What we tend to do with our clients is we create these time capsules where someone puts in their prayer or their name and puts on the coin and things like that.
Cool.
So and then we put that whole box in the foundation of the building. Yeah. So you have now become a part of that project.
That's so cool.
So that's a ceremony we always do, and people become emotionally attached to these developments.
Right.
So then they don't want to default.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So the people come with their children. We have like a bouncy castle and things like that, and people have a great time.
It's a real fun day, isn't it?
Day, yes.
Wow, fantastic.
So that's in May.
That's in May. In May. Okay, we want to wish you all the best. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end, Mr. Ezzy, but thanks so much for making time to be with us this morning, talking to us about home ownership and, of course, how to kickstart that journey. Also, we want to encourage you, FYI, to check them out as Fair Deal Properties. If you're down at the coast, okay, wherever you are, please make sure that you swing by on the dates that they have indicated in May, should you be interested in checking out their latest development down in Bamburi. We are also putting a clarion call to all young people who are digital marketers, because clearly Fair Deal needs one. You need to hire someone to do this for you, okay?
You're right.
Send in your CVs to Fair Deal Properties if you're into digital marketing. and do something for them today, okay? So thanks so much for watching. We do appreciate your company. We're going to leave it there because we do have Interactive coming up next from 9 a.m. all the way till 10 a.m. My name is Shiko Kaitani. Have a wonderful day up ahead. Ezzy, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. All right.